Hi everybody, my name is Victoria. Welcome back to my channel. I thought I would pop on and do a belated July TBR. I am in the middle of a few things and I do have maybe some hopes and dreams as well. As usual, pretty typical for a TBR video. So, well, we will just jump right into it. I think my son is gonna wake up from his nap at any moment, so I don't have a ton of time, I don't think. But, so well, first, update. I have been reading The Tale of Genji, and obviously still reading The Tale of Genji. I'm actually, well, was one of the co-hosts for the read-along that's happening on Naomi's channel at Naomi's Bookshelf. I have decided to drop out of the read-along hosting part of it, but I am still reading this. And that's just because I was feeling like the pace that we needed to read the book just was not going to work for me, even though this is something that I want to finish and continue. And I plan on doing that, but I just really did not enjoy having a deadline attached to each section. So I'm just changing the way that I interact with this book, and I'm just going to take my time because I think I'm enjoying it when I take my time. But if it's something that's like feels like pressure, I'm not going to enjoy it, and I'm not going to give the book a fair shot. So I felt like I needed to not be a co-host, so I'm not a co-host anymore, but I am very much still reading this. So yes, that's kind of the dark side of booktube, if you will. Like, I enjoy reading with my friends, and I want to read with my friends, but also there's like an expectation, obviously, of keeping up with the group. And sometimes it just doesn't work. Sometimes it doesn't work for you. And it's that catch-22 of wanting to be part of the group, and it's just not working. So I'm gonna slow down in this a bit, and yeah, it's just not a pace, it's a pace problem, it's a me problem, not a booktube problem or a book problem, it's a me problem. So I am still liking my time with The Tale of Genji and just intrigued to be with the world and the characters. So continuing with that, very much so. And then I am embarrassingly still reading Way of Kings. I've been reading it like all year basically because I've been doing this reread so slowly. So yeah, I think again this needs to be up there on my goals. Now that I'm slowing down on Tale of Genji, I did lose some steam on this because of Tale of Genji. So maybe I need to pick up speed on this because it's absurd how long I've been reading it. I need to just read it. But yeah, reread for me, and I am trying to reread the Stormlight Archives before the 5th book comes out. So still in the plans. And then of course, if I do finish this in July, I will be continuing with Words of Radiance and trying to, speaking of deadlines, obviously that's a deadline, isn't it? Read them all before the 5th book comes out. I don't think I'm gonna make it at this point, but that's okay. If I can sort of get close, then I'll be happy. Next, I am currently reading Tribe of the Accord by Sean Michael Stone. This book was sent to me by the author in exchange for a review. So I am working on this one. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm not terribly far. But an unfortunate thing is happening with this. I don't know if there's something wrong with my copy, but the pages are falling out, like literally falling out of the binding. So, yeah, that's a sad. I guess I should have gotten the Kindle version. Oh well. But yeah, so I am enjoying the story though, even though the book is falling apart as I read it. Kind of a bummer. But I'm liking it. It's about a young girl and her father, and they are living in like kind of like, I guess you could say prehistoric times. and they are not part of a tribe, and the daughter is kind of like upset about that, and she's asking questions, and why aren't we part of a tribe? But we would survive better that way. And instead they're these like they're just like a lone unit, the two of them, and then they encounter a tribe, and some things happen, and that's where I'm at. So yes, it's kind of about unraveling the father's past and why he doesn't have a tribe anymore, and the adventures they are getting into. So I am enjoying this. I'm not sure if it is YA, but it's reading very YA, which is not a bad thing. It's actually kind of a nice thing because it's really easy to read. I've been reading it before bed, and yeah, it's kind of an exciting book to read before bed because it's very like adventure story, action packed. But I'm enjoying this so far. So I should have a review of that soon. Speaking of independent published books, I'm reading an independently published book on my Kindle, and I'm reading something called Fated Born. This is a YA fantasy romance, and this is Kristen L. Hamlin. And this has also been fun. I'm just like dipping into it every so often, but the concept is really cool. I think that's what I like about reading indie books is the concepts. A lot of times they are just not as inhibited by things in like traditional publishing, and they can just like roll with their ideas, and I love that. And this is an interesting premise. It's about souls before they're born. So it's kind of like, instead of the afterlife, it's like the before life. So when the souls have not been born to Earth yet, actually it's not Earth, it's a planet called Terra. So they have a certain amount of choice in choosing to be born, but then there's certain members of the society who are called Watchers, and their job is to sort of watch what's going on Thera, and to report back so that the souls can make a decision of when they want to be born, so that, you know, they don't necessarily want to be born into like a period of war or whatever. So it's kind of an interesting concept. So yeah, it's about the souls before they are born onto the earth, and it's particularly following one of the Watchers as he's watching the planet. So I'm enjoying this too. And then I am a Book of the Month member, and so I fail really hard at reading them in a timely manner, but this is the one that I got in June, so I did start it, and obviously didn't finish it in June. I did start it in June, but I'm still working on this, called Onear Romance, and it's just a light, fluffy contemporary romance by Laura Hankin. So Onear Romance. Hope it's not a one-star book. So far I like the writing. The writing has been pretty strong. So far I've enjoyed my time in this, but I've only spent a little bit of time. So working on that for July. It's also Jane Austen July. And so if I do anything, I will reread Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen, and possibly on audio, because I have not ever listened to Sense and Sensibility, so that might be fun to do. Hi, Rosie. Yeah, so if you have an audio recommendation, if you have an audio version that you like, let me know. But I have enjoyed Sense and Sensibility in the past, and had previously considered it maybe like my third or second favorite, depending on how I feel. So that's pretty high. I usually really like Sense and Sensibility, and I want to watch film adaptations of it. Of course, I'm very familiar with the 90s one. I grew up watching that one, being a 90s kid. And so my mom was a big fan of that movie. She never read the book, but she loves the movie. So we would watch the movie all the time. And I understand that there's some better adaptations of it objectively. So I would like to maybe watch some other adaptations as well, but also probably the 90s one, just because it's kind of a cozy, happy watch for me. But I want to try some other ones too. And so yeah, if I do anything for Jane Austen July, it'll be that. And then Also on audio, I am currently listening to The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. So this is also a reread, but I've never listened to them before. I have so many rereads. It's like 3 rereads. Oh, man. That's okay. I love rereading. It just sometimes I feel like I should be reading new books to me, new to me books, but that's okay. Rereading is really special. So I'm not mad that a lot of my reading this year has been rereading, but I don't always plan it. It just happens. So yeah. What was I talking about? Oh, The Well of Ascension. But yeah, that's it. That's it. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books. So if I was able to finish those in July, I'd be a happy camper. My reading really slowed down a ton in April, May, June. And so I've only finished like a few books. Maybe like I'm averaging like a book a month. And I think part of that was because I was just, well, busy also. And then in the middle of a lot of things and in the middle of a lot of books and getting kind of bogged down. So I want to maybe cut down on the amount of books that I'm reading. I think I'm reading too many at once. So I don't mind reading multiple books at once, but I think I've sort of been towing the line on what works for me and what doesn't. So I think if I could keep it a little bit lower. So once I knock some of these off, I need to rethink how I manage reading multiple books at once, because I'm enjoying reading multiple books and having multiple books in multiple formats. I'm liking that, but yeah, it's definitely created a big slowdown for me as someone who is not having a ton of time to read these days, despite my desire to. So yeah, that's my July TBR. I'd love to know what your plans are for your July reading, or if you have any thoughts on any of these books that I'm currently in the middle of. I'm in the middle of some chunky books that I'm not going to finish in July. But yeah, it's an endeavor. It's an adventure. Thanks for stopping by my channel today. Subscribe if you want to see more content from me, and give it a like if you liked the video. Stay cool out there. Have a great month, and until next time, bye-bye.